Hello and welcome to my Kingdom Hearts 2.5 HD remix video on Mushroom 13 No. 8, the worst one of the bunch in my opinion. So yeah, this one can be found in by going to the tower entryway and then heading out into the tower area. And he is here in the ground. And the goal for this one is to you pull him up and then you have to keep him in the air for 85 hits without letting him touch the ground. So this one's very challenging and it took me a long time to get this right. And I have two methods of doing this. The first one is going to be the one I recommend using. It's easier. The second one is the one I used in my blind playthrough. It's quite a lot harder, but it's definitely possible. I managed to get 99 hits using it, so definitely possible. But yeah, the first method, I like to use Widsom form for this one. So my setup is, I recommend having Fatal Crest berserk charge, either through Fatal Crest or the ability. It is possible to do without Fatal Crest, but it will be significantly harder. Aside from that, I like having Combo Plus and also Finishing Plus. It helps out. And you want to have Thunder or Thundaga mapped to one of your buttons to. I'll show you when I do it. But yeah, that is basically the setup for the second form. Now it's probably gonna take quite a while to get this one. It took me more than an hour to actually do it the first time. But when I've nailed this second method down with Widsom form, I can do it every like 3, maybe 4 tries or something like that. So once you get it right, it's definitely possible. And here is how I do the Widsom form method.
So I start by popping Widsom form, and then I move up to him, use a Kiraga and trigger him.
Let's go.
And yeah, move back a little because you want to keep the right distance. The hardest part about this method is just learning the distance you should keep to the mushroom here. And then I keep track of my MP, and when I get my MP back, he will do a finisher, and then I start using Thundaga, and then I spam Thundaga until I no longer have any MP, and then I start using regular attacks again. So the goal here is to get him into this corner that I'm driving him towards here, because once you get him into the corner, you don't actually need berserk charge anymore. You're gonna notice that I don't use any Thundagas anymore here. Instead I just use regular attacks after getting him into this corner. Again, the trick is to learn the distance to him, so you don't lose your targeting and he doesn't drop down to the ground. So yeah, there I go for 99 hits, and I also wanted to, include a one where I do it without the berserk charge ability. So again, keeping the right distance is very important here, and the method I do this without berserk charge is that you really need finishing plus for this second one. So right after you've seen your Sora do a finisher, you use one Thundaga like that, and then you go in and start using regular attacks again. So the goal again is to drive him into this corner, and after every finisher use a Thundaga. That is why you need the Finishing Plus ability, or the Rumbling Rose weapon, I believe it's called, the weapon with Finishing Plus. But yeah, that is basically how I do the finishing, the Mushroom Widsom method, and it can be very hard, but it's definitely possible. And here's a little two examples of what I was talking about earlier. When you're too close, first he drops down before you can use your Thundaga, and when you're too far away, he gets too far away from you and you lose your targeting, and it's hard to try to get to him and keep your attacks going. So that's why you need to learn the distance.
So for this second method, the one I used in my blind playthrough, I used Valor Form actually, which was harder, but it's definitely possible. It's gonna take some time, but it's definitely possible. But yeah, I like to have the Star Seeker for the extra combo, air combo plus, and just a long range, a long weapon can be good. So here I have Decisive Pumpkin. So for this one, you really want as many air combo pluses as you can get, and yeah, that's about it. As many air combo pluses as you can get. That is the most important part of this method. And this is how I do it with Valor Form.
Right, so here I've already popped Valor Form, but then I trigger the mushroom and I start using my combo. So I use up to 12 hits of 12 combo hits here, and then I stop attacking and just let myself fall down a bit, and then I attack again. So yeah, that is basically how I do it. Just follow him around and don't go and use your finisher. That's the most important part. So you have to stop your attacking before you actually go into finisher. And sometimes you can... there's a square ability in Valor Form where you dash up to the enemy and he attacks a couple of times. That can be useful in certain situations. It doesn't work perfectly, but it works okay at times. So yeah. This method works, but it's harder than Wisdom Form, so I'd recommend using that one. But that is going to be it for this one, so thank you for watching, and until next time, have a good time!